A very warm welcome to you all. Our guest tonight is Pritva Nirsimloo. He is the author of two books, Le Miroir de la Vérité, and his most recent one is Les Questions de la Vie. Tonight, during this episode of One on One, we are going to learn more about this new book, which is in fact a collection of prose and poetry, and also the journey of Pritva as a poet. Pritva, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Thank you so much.
We had you last time, where you talked about your first book, Le Miroir de la Vérité. It was a year back, and it was also a collection of prose and poetry, right?
Yeah, it has been 1 long year, and I've kept my promise to you that I come back with what I call my masterpiece, because it's basically the same format, like you said, but this one compared to Le Miroir de la Vérité was mainly based on my life. This one is based on the life of people, of others, of friends, of people around me that I've got to witness. So I decided to enter the life, enter like creating new characters, anxiety, depression, again, love, what's happening in the society, because the world has changed now. You can see cruel. It's cruel. Yeah, it's about money. It's about power. It's about anger. It's about anger. It's been this stuff now, but we have to adapt. We adapt to change. We have. Yeah.
So you prefer this style of writing mostly?
I think it's my year now. I think it's my year because on my first book, when I was asking feedbacks of my readers, they were always saying the same things like, so deep, how do you write these kind of things? Then I explained to them that when I write, I use words, I use characters, I enter the life, the body of other people just to feel what they feel and deeply. Then I can express through like 200 to 300 words what they are going through life. Even is it tough or it will be good later? Solutions. That's why the equation of life is based on the problems in life. We always have problems every day, every night, but the thing is that we have to search for solutions. That's what we call an equation, like in mathematics.
Yes, that's very true. And yeah, as you mentioned, your first book as well talked about similar issues
Yeah.
like anxiety, love, depression, and also about heartbreak. So, how did you try to talk about these themes in this book, but now from a different perspective, so that it doesn't, you know, be repeated in the same way, and the readers can also get a new feel when they are reading this book.
I use a method of writing which is holistic. I also use the word holistic in most of my texts because you have to see things in life through different angles, I think. Like it's in a court, the judge will see the rulings of the accusee, of the jury, etc. You have to see in different angles. That's why it's completely related also to the eye of Horus. The eye of Horus, which is, I must say, for me, the pineal gland, which is found in our head. We can also call it the third eye. Third eye.
Pritva, one of the aim of poetry is to convey emotions, and you've written two books quite in a short span of time. Was it difficult for you to come back to writing after publishing a collection of prose and poetry a year back?
No, no. The fact that I live in a world of solitude, which I really like, and it was easy for me because I started writing the equation of life when the first book, Le Miroir de la Vérité, was in the printing, was printed. So I started like 3 weeks before it was released. So I kept writing for like 3 months, let's say, 3 months, and then after come the correction and so on. So after the writings, I took my time. Of life, I told many people that's my masterpiece because I put much more effort in it. Like when I was correcting, I was like waking up at 3 in the morning for almost 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks. But the advantage I had is that I I don't sleep that much, like 3 to 4 hours. And the rest of the day, I work, I reflect, I reflect. I like thinking. That's how I work. I work for myself.
Was it not draining though?
Yeah, at the end, it was draining. Yeah, you know, the human body has a certain limit. You can't push to away, but I had to pause a bit of time and restart again, where you will have to do the graphic designer works, etc. But it came on the date I wished, so it was well planned. I must say it was well planned. There were issues, there were obstacles, but have to deal with it. That's the question of life.
And also, do you feel that you've grown as a writer in terms of writing? I'm saying, do you feel that there's a kind of maturity in this one
Yeah,
compared to Le
uh,
Miroir de la Vérité?
a bit of maturity, yes, on the psychology of people. You see people and talking to them, understanding them, knowing them without they reply to you. Mainly based on the third eye, how you see people around you, how you see the environment around you, how you feel when you're like talking to someone. Do you feel something? Is like frequencies. We emit frequencies. It's universal laws. So every frequency has an effect and comes back to you. That's based on the universe works.
So, what would you say is the purpose of this one?
So that people try to search a solution for every problem. Like I said there, it's about time, it's about a lot of things, it's about also studies, accretions, marriage, divorce, the sphere of life. Like there's a chapter in their sphere of life, like I say, imagine there's a sphere, that's your life, okay? It's big, but it has limited space. Like a good example is that you can see people having great businesses, riches, luxuries, but can't have children. You have at a certain time to remove something to add something. That's the sphere of life, because again, it's how the universe works.
So, you're trying to bring optimism in the lives of
Yeah,
people.
to see things differently. Like I just said, it's all about your frequency. What you will think of negative things, you will attract negative things. We think of money, you think of money, you're gonna get a new job, or your business will rise eventually. Uh, like the first book, this one also has a lot of, I must say, readings about the secret.
Law of
Yeah,
attraction.
yeah, the law of attraction, law of love, metaphysics laws, metaphysics laws. There was other things like as above, so below, so within, and everything. You know?
But there also is a portion of the audience who are not aware of the law of attraction. Do you
Yeah, it's
think it
for
could be
them.
difficult for them to connect with that book?
Yeah, it can be difficult, but they can try. But the people, it depends on them and their beliefs. Some will say, "Yo, it's just you want to make a book just for money." They will say that. A lot of friends told me that. Yeah, it's not worth. I'm not gonna buy it. I said, okay, it's okay. I'm not gonna force you. But people who have experienced it really will say, yes, let me try. Yesterday I was at Godot Arts. I met a photographer. We were just chatting together. Then I said, I'm a writer. There was a book with me. He said, yeah, I like the philosophy. I'm gonna take one. It was like that. There are also people where I do exhibitions at bookstores, etc. They come pick the book. Oh, okay, it's French. I don't eat French. But in fact, if it was in English, they would not also have bought it. It's just like, I don't know, the human being is strange. Strange. They don't know how to react, but you can understand them. If you study the human being, you'll definitely understand them. Yeah.
In terms of creative process though, Were you more relaxed while writing this one compared to Le Miroir de la Vérité, or this one was actually a bit of pressure for you? You had to
Although,
meet the expectation of the
yeah,
first one.
yeah, it's true. So I maintain some creative process, like I use voices of like in Prison Break, I use his voice when I'm writing, or even the voice of the actor in Breaking Bad, Walter White. But I try new things, like write only in the night. So I did, like being in a state of known and unknown, in between life and death, like in a state of illumination, where I'm gonna be someone new for 2 hours. I'm gonna forget I'm Pritva. I did that a lot of times, where eventually it brought a problem where one day I woke up in the morning, I was completely lost. Who am I? Yeah, I was asking myself, who am I? I said, so I took a break, like of 2 3 days, then I started again. The human brain, like I said, is strange. Yeah. You can collapse on it anything. I don't know.
Pritva, you're 28 only and you've already written 2 books, but is there any memory or instance from your childhood that you feel at this point in your life stands as a metaphor for your eventual life as a poet or writer?
That's a nice question, because as a child, I was always the one who had the most imagination. I was always the one talking all day. Even when there were family gatherings, I was the one who was like the clown, making everybody laugh. I really like music. I was an artist being a child, even without realizing it. That's the process. I think that maintain my life as an artist in my hand, which basically after came true when I started playing guitar, when I started trying new kind of things. I never thought I'm gonna write 2 books at the end of 28.
So it was
Eventually,
unexpected for you.
you never expect life. You never expect life. You get what you give. You get what you give in the world. You follow the universe. Yeah.
So if you were not a poet now, today, what would you be?
Not know. Perhaps a politician, or I don't know. I tried a lot of things recently. You said that if I wasn't a writer, perhaps I would have been a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher at the time, because my father was a great teacher, and I have the ability to teach, to share with people, parenting their age, their anger, and everything. I would have been a teacher. Yeah, I think.
I think you are already trying to be a teacher for your books because the aim of the 2 books is to educate people about your belief in certain stuff, right?
Yeah, because again, when I'm doing exhibitions, which I do eventually every month, either alone or with a group of people, which a French guy created last year, annually ensemble. We were like 25 authors. But when you met someone taking your book opening, you're gonna give them everything you can, for 30 seconds, for 1 minute, everything to make them interested. They're interested or not, but you have to talk with them. That's the part of selling a book. It's the marketing indeed. Even there are a lot of people who didn't bought my book, but they had me on Facebook. They started following my page, which afterly they bought the book. They bought the book either with me online, or in bookstores, because they started reflecting on what I was telling them about the creation of life, about truth in life, about spiritual laws, about spiritual awakening. You have to like follow your readers, not only your readers follow you. That's why on my page I usually put quotes. I constantly write for 5 plus. I keep that audience alive. I try to put like for every festival a little picture, something. You have to keep that audience alive. Level it's That's the part that a lot of writers did wrong. They put a lot of effort releasing a book, put the book in bookstores, and then they end up like this, where the book didn't get sold. That's a wrong part of marketing, I must say. Yeah.
Pritva, talk to us about the title as well as the cover of the book, L'équation de la vie. What do you mean by that?
The equation of life, actually, I got this beautiful title from Game of Thrones. You ever heard? There's an episode in Game of Thrones where one of the characters, I think the smallest child, I forgot the name, where she escaped and came in a temple called where the temple les dieux multifacets, I think, if I remember well. Then she has in the temple like faces everywhere, real faces, but only faces everywhere with their skin, etc. Then there are steps she has to do to find herself. I think find herself, find truth, which was I like this concept. That that's why I said when I was watching this, I said the next book is gonna be the equation of life, and also that not other people, a lot of people find life tough. They don't see the good part of life
The
where
brighter side.
yeah, they can be in good health every day. They have a happy family. They are not alone. They are getting everything. Not not even having riches, but they have a happy life.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. They don't see a holistic part of the good thing.
Easier to complain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's easier to complete that to explain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't see that truth really. Yeah.
So how about the cover? What is it exactly? It's like
We
somewhere in the
choose this cover actually because first, you know the Paulo Coelho book, the Alchemist, the famous book, because it's in Egypt and I really love the Egyptian mythology. The Eye of Horus again. I love the Eye of Horus, the tattoo, the because of the third eye, the pineal gland, and my beliefs for the Egyptian mythology and gods. And then why the clock? Why breaking a clock? The concept, it was by my graphic designer, because we choose like there's a things that the past doesn't exist, the future does not exist, only the present exists. You can live in the past, no. You can live in the future, no. You can only live in the present.
in the now.
That's why we break the clock for another reason also, that we didn't create time. We created the clock. We created watches, but it's just numbers just to control our life. That's it. But like there's a quote that said, "A broken clock gives time twice a day." That's false. A broken clock is a broken clock. That's it. Yeah, that's why we choose that. And at the back here, you'll have what we call the ankh. The ankh was used by Egyptian gods, like they were carrying the ankh everywhere they were going, like it was a protection and the symbol of life. That sur la vie. That's why we put this ankh. This was well planned. Yeah, the cover. The cover is like the face of the author also.
But how was the journey of l'équation de la vie for you?
It was a tough one because for the Miroir de la Vérité, like I said last time, it was written in the lockdown where I had nothing to do. It was written in 1.5 months, but this time it was tough. But I said to myself every day, let's make it to another level. On va pas rester là quand même. Faut faire les choses beau. Then I tried every steps to finally get this book before the end of the year, and but here it is.
Which is your favorite poem from that collection of
My
prose and
favorite,
poetry?
all of them are favorite, but the most precious one for me, it's the first one, which is un amour impossible, which actually finish by un cœur brisé ne guérit jamais et une véritable histoire d'amour ne finit jamais. This text is basically, no, I must say it's on my ex, because my ex helped me a lot on my first book. Actually, she was on the one who did, But after that, there were many difficult periods where we had to break up. That's why I wrote it. I sent her. She liked, but we stayed friends. That's why I kept this the
It's a
first
close
chapter.
memory for you.
Yeah, yeah, close memory. That's it. Yeah.
Pritva, does knowing that your poems are published and out there in the world validate your being as a poet, or you're just happy or content that you've been able to release your emotion and it's out of your system?
I think that I see myself as a writer also, because people can think a lot of things about me, but I believe that no one is perfect. Then you have the right to think of which you are before taking in consideration people saying who you are really, because you have to live your life in your world, not theirs. Okay, because like criticism can affect you, can affect a person on his direction, and he's willing to do something new, something beautiful. You know, telling people what kind he or she is, I don't really like this. You can't put a name on the person. You don't know what's happening inside his mind. You can know a businessman, a famous businessman, but actually in his mind he may be a child. Don't know.
Yeah, that's true. So, what do you see the role of a writer or poet in this modern society today?
No society will live without a poet or even a writer. Uh, Words are everything. Words are powerful. Words can affect. Words can help. Words can destroy. No society will ever be able to live with neither poet, writers. That's my point of view, which is, I think, true.
Yeah, the poet has the ability to offer companionship to people, right,
The
through their
poet,
writings.
the poet is, I must say, the only one that doesn't live in a bubble. They live in the universe, not in the bubble. Like, we see things differently. We see things from a holistic view. We try to find new things. We try to find new solutions. We try to find new equations.
They have a critical mindset.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to have a critical mind, like always breaking the barrier, finding something new. That's evolution. In writing, there must be evolution. There will always be. Yeah.
Pritva, what were the challenges that you've encountered while writing this book compared to your first one?
Really long, because I did different step this time, on the writings, on the correction, on even the printing company. So it was tougher compared to last year. Yeah.
But do you receive from your poem, like when you read it, do you feel that it has an impact on yourself, on your personality, when you're reading it with new eyes? Because you're the writer, but when you read it, you are the reader and audience.
When I write the poems with a pencil on paper, if I don't like it, I'm gonna erase it. But it happened very few times, because when I write, maybe I'll get a title here. I'm gonna write few lines. There's no more thinking. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna continue in like 15 to 20 minutes. In between, I'm gonna change my mind, listen to a song, think of other things. Then I get back. You have to refresh yourself, because most of poems, when I write them, I feel something. That's me that wrote it. I'll never forget that. Yeah, that's how I work. Yeah.
We are actually drawing towards the end of this episode, but before that, Pritva, what do you want to tell the audience now who want to read your new book? Any message for them?
Yeah, better try it, because there are people that didn't want to try my first book. Now they are waiting for my second book, because I put making this book. I like lost a part of my soul, because like creating characters. At the end, you lose a part of your soul. Many writers can tell you how, because writing and putting out paper and the thoughts, everything is such a sacrifice. That's why a lot of people won't able to think of doing it. Yeah, it's like better die trying than not trying. Better die trying than not trying. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pritva,
Yeah.
and I wish you
Thanks.
all the best pour Équation de la vie.
We'll meet next year.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. Thank you for your time. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.